The family secret. The dust moves slowly in the afternoon sunlight as I touch the old, yellow paper. The family tree covers the fragile sheet. Lines go in every direction. But what makes me stop are the empty spaces. So many of them. Names that just end. Family lines cut off with no reason why. Just nothing there. My name is Elellanar Webb, and 3 weeks ago my grandmother left me her old house in New England. I never thought I would be here, going through hundreds of years of family history. But after Gran's funeral, the family lawyer gave me the keys and said, "She wanted you to have it. Only you." I didn't know why. I had only visited the house a few times when I was little. My father had a big fight with Gran when I was young, and we never talked about her after that. When I asked why, he would get tense and say, "Some families should stay far away." Now at 32, with both my parents dead and no brothers or sisters, I was stuck taking care of a family story I didn't understand. The house is a huge 3-story Victorian home, with sharp roofs and thin windows, sitting outside a small ocean town called Ravens Hollow. Local stories say the town was started by people running from witch trials in the 1700s. I don't know if that's true, but there's something scary about this place. The local people are nice but quiet, and I've seen many curious looks since I got here. I follow one of the lines of the Webb family tree with my finger, going to one of those empty spaces. Elizabeth Webb, born 1887, and then nothing. No death date, no lines to children, just gone like so many others. "What happened to you?" I whisper as if the paper might talk back. A wooden board makes noise behind me and I jump, almost knocking over the lamp on the desk. It's just the house making sounds. I tell myself, though I can't stop feeling like someone is watching me. I've been finding strange things all week. Hidden spaces in the walls filled with old letters, photos with faces scratched out, and Gran's journals, many of them, filled with weird mentions of the family responsibility and keeping the bloodline clean. Today, I found this family tree hidden behind a fake wall in the library. It's the most complete record I've found so far, going back to the 1700s. But these empty spaces, they can't all be accidents. My phone makes a sound. It's a text from Dr. Harrison, the local history expert I've been talking to. "Found something in town records about your family. Call me." I call his number and he answers right away. "Elellanar." I was looking through some old census information and I noticed something strange about the Webbs. "Let me guess," I say. "People disappearing without explanation." "Yes, exactly." He sounds surprised. "How did you know?" I tell him about the family tree. "It's not just 1 or 2 people, Dr. Harrison. It's many people across many generations." "That's unusual," he says carefully. "I also found mentions of something called the preservation connected to your family. Does that mean anything to you?" I think of Gran's journals. "Maybe. I need to look into it more. Thank you for telling me." After hanging up, I go back to the family tree, studying it more carefully. I notice something I missed before. Small symbols next to some of the names. A circle with a dot in the middle, always next to people who disappear. The doorbell rings, scaring me again. When I answer, I find an old woman standing on the porch, leaning on a walking stick. "You must be Elellanar," she says. "I'm Margaret Winters. I was friends with your grandmother." I invite her in, and she sits in a chair in the living room, her eyes looking around as if searching for something. "I came to warn you," she says without waiting. "This house, it has secrets. Secrets that should stay hidden." "What kind of secrets?" I ask, thinking of the family tree. Margaret's eyes meet mine. "Your grandmother was a keeper like her mother before her. It's in your blood too, I think." "A keeper of what?" She shakes her head. "I've said too much already. Just be careful what doors you open in this house. Some were closed for a good reason." She stands quickly. "I should go. They wouldn't like me talking to you." "Who wouldn't like it?" I ask, but she's already walking to the door. "If you start hearing the singing," she says over her shoulder, "cover your ears and run. Don't listen, no matter how beautiful it sounds." And then she's gone, leaving me with more questions than answers. That night, I dream of dark hallways and whispered voices. I wake up at 3:17 a.m. sweating even though the room is cold. My bedroom door is open, though I'm sure I closed it before going to bed. I get up to close it, and as I reach for the handle, I hear it. A soft singing coming from somewhere deep in the house. A song that sounds almost familiar but not quite human. Margaret's warning repeats in my mind. If you start hearing the singing, cover your ears and run. Instead, I grab my phone for light and step into the hallway. The singing gets a little louder as I move toward the stairs. It's coming from below. The stairs make noise under my weight as I go down to the first floor. The singing leads me to the library where I found the family tree, but it doesn't stop there. It seems to be coming from under the floor. I run my hands along the bottom of the walls looking for anything strange. In the corner of the room, behind a heavy bookcase, I find it. A small dent in the wood. When I press it, there's a click and a section of the floor slides away, showing a narrow staircase going down into darkness. The singing is definitely coming from down there. Common sense tells me to call someone, to wait until morning, but something pulls at me. A need to know, to understand what happened to all those missing relatives. I shine my phone light down the stairs. They're made of stone, worn smooth in the center for many feet. How old is this passage? And how did I miss it while exploring the house? Taking a deep breath, I start going down. The air gets colder with each step, carrying a musty, metallic smell. The singing stops suddenly, replaced by a silence so complete it feels like pressure against my ears. At the bottom of the stairs is a heavy wooden door with an iron handle. No lock, no marks, just waiting to be opened. I wait, Margaret's warning ringing in my ears. But I've come this far. I pull the handle and the door opens easily. Beyond is a basement larger than should be possible given the size of the house above. My phone light barely cuts through the darkness, but I can see stone walls lined with shelves and what looks like science equipment on tables in the center of the room. I step inside and the door swings shut behind me with a heavy sound. I spin around, heart racing, but there's no handle on this side, just smooth wood. I'm trapped. Trying not to panic, I turn back to the room. As my eyes get used to the darkness, I notice a switch on the wall. I flip it and old electric lights come on, lighting up the basement in a harsh glow. What I see makes my blood turn cold. The room is indeed a laboratory, but unlike any I've seen before. The shelves along the walls hold hundreds of glass jars, each containing what looks like organs and tissue pieces. Each jar is carefully labeled with names and dates. With shaking hands, I approach the nearest shelf. The jar at eye level is labeled Elizabeth Webb, 1887. Brain. Elizabeth from the family tree. The one with no death date. I move along the shelf, reading more labels. Thomas Webb, 1912. Mary Webb, 1943. All names from the gaps in the family tree. In the center of the room stands a large stone table, its surface stained dark with what I fear is blood. Leather straps hang from each corner. Beside it, a smaller table holds surgical tools that look hundreds of years old alongside more modern equipment. Needles, bottles, a machine for separating blood. On a desk in the corner, I find stacks of notebooks. The handwriting changes over the years, but the purpose seems the same. I open the most recent one, dated just a year before Gran died. Subject 147 shows promising response to the medicine. Cell healing improved by 42% compared to subject 146. The preservation continues to advance, though slower than our ancestors hoped. With each generation, we come closer to the final goal, true immortality. I flip through more pages, horrified but unable to stop reading. The notebooks detail experiments over centuries. Experiments on family members who showed signs of what they called the gift. Those without it were allowed to live normal lives, marry, have children, continuing the bloodline hoping to produce more with the gift. Those who had it were brought to this basement. A noise from behind makes me turn around. A panel in the wall has slid open, showing another room, and standing in the doorway is a figure I recognize from photographs. My great-uncle Walter, who supposedly died 30 years ago, except he doesn't look like he's in his 90s. He looks maybe 60, his face unnaturally smooth for his age. Elellanar, he says, his voice rough from not being used. We've been waiting for you to find your way down here. Your grandmother was certain you had the gift. Uncle Walter? I back away until I hit the desk. You're alive. In a way of speaking. He steps fully into the room and I see that his movements are stiff, unnatural. The preservation is not perfect yet. We keep ourselves alive, but at a cost. What cost? I ask, though I fear I know the answer. The specimens you see around you, he points to the jars, are failed attempts. Parts that couldn't be reused. My stomach feels sick. You've been experimenting on our family. Killing them. Not killing, Walter corrects. Preserving what makes us special. The gift is rare even in our bloodline. When we find one who has it, we must harvest it for the greater work. What gift? What are you talking about? Healing, Elellanar. Self-repair, long life. Some in our family are born with cells that can fix themselves forever. The first Webb to discover this was Josiah in 1764. He spent his life trying to understand it, to copy it. Every generation since has continued his work, including Gran. My voice catches, especially your grandmother. She was brilliant, made more progress in her lifetime than the previous 3 generations combined. He takes a step toward me. And she was certain you inherited the gift. That's why she left you the house. She wanted you to continue her work. By experimenting on people, killing family members. I shake my head. I would never. You misunderstand. We don't seek out those with the gift to harm them. His smile makes my skin crawl. We seek them out to welcome them into the inner family, to make them like us. And what exactly are you? I ask, though I'm not sure I want the answer. Walter's smile gets wider, showing teeth that are too perfect, too white. Improved. Enhanced. The closest thing to immortal this world has seen. From the room behind him, more figures come out. Men and women of different ages, all with that same unnatural smoothness to their skin, that same stiffness in their movements. I recognize some from family photographs. My great-aunt Judith, my second cousin Thomas, and my father. Dad. I whisper, tears starting in my eyes. The man who looks like my father looks at me with cold eyes. Hello, Elellanar. It's been a long time. You're not my father, I say, backing away further. My father is dead. I buried him. You buried a body, he corrects. I left when I realized what your grandmother planned for you. I tried to keep you away from all this. But in the end, blood calls to blood. What do you want from me? I demand, trying to keep my voice steady. We want you to join us, Walter says. To become part of the preservation. Your grandmother tested your blood when you were a child. You have the strongest signs for the gift that we've seen in generations. And if I refuse? The room falls silent. Then Walter sighs. No one refuses, Elellanar. This is your inheritance, your destiny. I look around frantically, searching for a way out. The door I came through is sealed. The group of whatever they are blocks the other exit. And then I notice something. A small red button under the desk, partially hidden. An alarm? A different exit? Either way, it's my only chance. I need time, I say, trying to sound reasonable. To process all this. It's a lot to understand. Walter looks at the others. Of course, we've waited decades. We can wait a little longer. He points to the notebooks. Read your grandmother's research. Understand the importance of what we're doing here. The preservation isn't just about making our lives longer. It's about making humanity better. As he speaks, I inch my hand toward the button. My fingers brush against it just as Walter's eyes narrow with suspicion. What are you? I slam my palm down on the button. For a moment, nothing happens. Then a high-pitched wailing fills the basement and the lights begin to flash red. The floor shakes beneath my feet. No! Walter lunges toward me, but he's too late. The ceiling of the basement cracks and chunks of stone begin to fall. The others scatter, screaming. I dive under the desk as a support beam crashes down where I was standing. What have you done? Walter shouts over the alarm. You've triggered the purge protocol. The what? I yell back. If the basement is discovered, everything is destroyed. Your grandmother installed it as a safety measure. The room continues to shake, more debris falling. The shelves of specimens topple, glass breaking across the floor. I see Walter and the others retreating through the hidden door, abandoning me to die. Water begins to pour in from cracks in the walls. No, not water. It smells like gasoline. I need to get out now. I scramble from under the desk and run for the hidden door, dodging falling debris. The gasoline is ankle-deep already, and I can see sparks from damaged electrical wires. I reach the door just as it begins to slide closed. I throw myself forward, barely making it through before it seals shut with a hiss. I find myself in a narrow tunnel, dimly lit by emergency lights. Behind me, I hear a whoosh and feel intense heat as the gasoline catches fire. The tunnel shakes with the force of the explosion. I run blindly forward, following the tunnel as it slopes upward. After what feels like forever, I reach another door. I push through it and come out into the night air, gasping. I'm in the woods behind the house. From here, I can see flames coming from the ground floor windows as the fire spreads upward from the basement. In the distance, I hear sirens. Someone must have seen the flames. I should wait for help. Tell the authorities everything. But something tells me they wouldn't believe me. And if any of those things survived, they might be looking for me. I need to get away to figure out what to do next. As I turn to run into the woods, I feel a hand grab my ankle. I scream and kick, looking down to see Walter's face, half burned, but still moving, still alive despite injuries that should be fatal. The gift, he gasps, his fingers digging into my skin. You have it too. I can feel it. You'll heal like we do. Join us, Elellanar. Continue the work. I kick free of his grasp and stagger backward. Never. This ends with me. Walter laughs, a horrible sound from his damaged throat. It never ends. The preservation goes back centuries. We have backup plans, other labs, other branches of the family. My blood runs cold. What do you mean, other branches? Your grandmother wasn't the only keeper, he says, his body beginning to twitch unnaturally as some kind of healing process tries to repair his burns. The Webb family is huge, with many gaps in its history. Many basements like this one. I back away, shaking my head. I'll find them. I'll stop all of you. You can try. Walter's laugh turns into a cough as his damaged lungs struggle. But first, you'd better run. Because when I finish healing, I'm coming for you. And I'm not the only one. I turn and run into the woods, not looking back, even as the house that held my family's darkest secrets burns to the ground behind me. I run until my lungs burn and my legs threaten to give out. When I finally stop to catch my breath, I pull out my phone. No signal out here in the woods. I need to get to town to warn someone. Though who would believe me? I have no proof now. Just the wild stories of a woman who claims her family has been doing immortality experiments for centuries. As I lean against a tree, trying to decide what to do next, I notice something strange. A cut on my hand from climbing through the tunnel is already forming a scab. A cut that should be fresh and bleeding is healing too fast. I think of Walter's words. You have it too. You'll heal like we do. The gift. Whatever it is, whatever they've been searching for all these generations, I might have it. No, I refuse to accept that I'm like them, that I'm destined to become one of those hollow-eyed, stiff-moving creatures who sacrifice their own family for the sake of making their unnatural lives longer. But if I do have this ability, I can use it to stay ahead of them, to find the other labs Walter mentioned, to end this once and for all. I push off from the tree and continue walking, following the distant lights of the town. As I walk, I think about the family tree with all its mysterious gaps. Now I know what those gaps represent. Not deaths, but changes. People taken to become part of the inner family. Their organs and tissues harvested if they failed. Their minds twisted if they survived. I wonder how many other family trees have similar gaps. How many other families hide secrets as dark as the Webbs. By dawn, I reach the edge of town. I sneak into a small motel and pay cash for a room, giving a false name. Once inside, I examine myself in the bathroom mirror. The cut on my hand is completely healed. not even a scar remaining. And now that I'm looking for it, I notice other small injuries. A bruise on my arm from hitting the desk. A scrape on my cheek from debris. All healing before my eyes. I do have it. The gift. I sink to the bathroom floor, tears streaming down my face. What am I? What am I becoming? No, I am still Elellanar Webb. I am not defined by my DNA or by my family's twisted story. I will use whatever abilities I have to stop them, not join them. I take a shower, washing away the soot and dirt from the basement. Then I sit down with the motel's notepad and begin to write everything I can remember from the notebooks I saw. Names, dates, locations that might lead to other labs. I need to be careful. I need to be smart. The inner family, as Walter called them, has had centuries to establish themselves, to hide their work. They won't be easy to find or to stop. But I have something they don't expect. One of their own working against them. As I write, I realize something else. If my father was one of them, was my mother as well? Was I born or was I created as part of their experiments? I push the thought aside. It doesn't matter now. What matters is stopping them before they can continue their work. Before more names disappear from more family trees. A soft knock at my door makes me freeze. I wait, barely breathing. The knock comes again, followed by a whispered Elellanar. It's Margaret Winters. Please, I know you're in there. I want to help. I approach the door carefully. How did you find me? I've been watching the house, she says through the door. I saw the fire, saw you escape. Please let me in. We don't have much time. I hesitate, then unlock the door. Margaret slips inside, looking even more frail in the harsh motel lighting. You opened the basement, she says. It's not a question. I nod. You knew about it all along. I was supposed to be part of it, she says, sitting heavily on the edge of the bed. Your grandmother and I grew up together. When we were teenagers, they tested us both. She had the gift. I didn't. So they let you go, I say, understanding now. Not exactly. They keep people like me around as watchers, as helpers. People who know enough to be useful, but not enough to be dangerous. She meets my gaze. Until now. Now I'm choosing to be dangerous. Why help me? Because I've watched for 70 years as they took people, good people, down to that basement. I've helped cover up disappearances, spread stories about accidents and illnesses. Her hands twist in her lap. I'm tired of being part of it, Elellanar. And when I saw you, you reminded me so much of your grandmother before the preservation consumed her. Before she became one of them. What exactly are they? I ask. Walter said they're not quite immortal, but they call themselves the preserved. Their bodies heal, but their minds, something happens to them over time. They lose their humanity piece by piece. The older ones, the ones who've been around for centuries, they're barely human at all anymore. A chill runs down my spine. And they want me to become like them. You're special, even among those with the gift. Your grandmother's tests showed that your cells have an unusually strong ability to heal. That's why she left you the house. Why she made sure you'd find your way to the basement eventually. So it was all a setup. The inheritance, everything. Margaret nods. But the fire wasn't part of the plan. The purge system was only supposed to be used if outsiders discovered the basement. Your grandmother never imagined you would trigger it. I didn't know what it would do, I say. I just needed to escape. Well, you've bought us some time. The fire will have destroyed most of the evidence, and many of the preserved who were there will be severely injured. It will take them time to heal, to regroup. Walter said there are other labs, other branches of the family. Yes, the Webbs are just one branch of what they call the family tree. There are others with different names but the same goal. The preservation of their bloodlines, the pursuit of immortality. I show her my list of locations I remembered from the notebooks. Do you know which of these might lead to other labs? She studies the list, then points to several names. These towns all have Webb relatives or relatives of the other branches. Start with these. Will you come with me? I ask. Margaret shakes her head. I'm too old, too slow. I'd only hold you back. But I can give you resources, money, contacts who might help. She reaches into her purse and pulls out a thick envelope. Take this. It's everything I've saved over the years. I always knew someday I'd need to make up for my part in all this. I accept the envelope hesitantly. Thank you. But what will you do now? They'll know you helped me. Don't worry about me, she says with a grim smile. I've lived a long life already, longer than I deserved, given what I've enabled. She stands to leave, then turns back. One more thing, Elellanar. The gift. It comes with a price. The more you heal, the more you use it, the more you'll start to change. Be careful. Don't become what you're fighting against. After Margaret leaves, I count the money in the envelope. Nearly $30,000 in cash. Along with it is a list of names and addresses, people she says might help me, and a small key with no indication of what it opens. I spend the next few days gathering supplies and information. I buy a used car with cash, a prepaid phone, clothes, and other necessities. I research the towns on my list, looking for patterns, for signs of the preserved presence. All the while, I keep checking my body for signs of change. The gift is active. Small injuries heal within hours, but I feel the same mentally. Not like the cold, hollow-eyed creatures I saw in the basement. Not yet. Anyway, 1 week after the fire, I'm ready to leave Raven's Hollow. I've chosen my first destination, a small town in the Midwest where, according to my research, several Webb cousins live. It's as good a place as any to start unraveling this conspiracy. As I pack the car, I notice a black sedan parked across the street, its windows tinted dark. I pretend not to see it as I finish loading my bags, but my heart races. They've found me. I get in my car and pull out of the motel parking lot, watching in the rearview mirror as the sedan follows at a distance. Instead of heading for the highway, I drive toward the center of town, making random turns, trying to lose my follower. The sedan stays with me, keeping the same distance. Whoever is driving knows what they're doing. I decide to confront them. I pull into the parking lot of a busy diner and get out, standing beside my car, waiting. The sedan parks a few spaces away. The driver's door opens and a woman steps out. Young, maybe mid-20s, with features that remind me somehow of my own. Elellanar Webb, she calls, staying beside her car. Who's asking? I reply, tense and ready to run if necessary. My name is Sophia Blackwood. I believe we're cousins. Several times removed. She takes a step forward, then stops when I back away. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm like you. A runner, not one of the preserved. Prove it, I demand. She rolls up her sleeve, revealing a forearm crisscrossed with scars. I cut out my tracker 5 years ago. The preserved embed them in all family members with the gift. You probably have one, too. I instinctively touch my left forearm, remembering a small scar I've had since childhood. A vaccination, my parents told me. How did you find me then? I ask. Margaret Winters contacted me before she died. My blood runs cold. Before she what? Sophia's expression softens. I'm sorry. She took her own life the day after she met with you. Left a note exposing everything she knew about the Webb branch of the preservation. The local authorities dismissed it as the ravings of a disturbed old woman. But the preserved know better. Margaret, another name to add to the toll of this nightmare. Why should I trust you? I ask. Because I've been where you are. I discovered my family's secret when I was 20. I've been running ever since, looking for others like us. There are more. Others with the gift. She nods. We call ourselves the severed branches. We use what we are to fight what they do. Hope flickers in my chest for the first time since I opened that basement door. How many of you are there? Not many. Dozens scattered across the country. The preserved are powerful, with resources we can only dream of. But we're growing, finding more like you. Family members who reject what their relatives have become. I think of Walter's burned face, of his promise to find me, of the other labs, the other branches of this twisted family tree. What's your plan? Ask. How do we stop them? We find their labs, like you were planning to do. We document everything, build a case that can't be ignored or dismissed. And then we take it public. All of it. Every horrible detail. They'll just disappear. Go deeper underground. Sophia shakes her head. Not if we cut off their supply. The gift is rare, even in the bloodlines they cultivate. If we can identify those who have it and protect them, the preserved will eventually die out. Not quickly. Some of them have been alive for centuries. But eventually. Sounds too simple, and I say so. I didn't say it would be easy, Sophia replies. Just possible. With your help. I study her face, looking for signs of lies. But all I see is the same determination I feel, the same horror at what our families have done. If I come with you, I say slowly, I need to know everything. No more secrets. No more secrets. She agrees. Get in your car and follow me. Our safe house is about 2 hours from here. I'll explain everything on the way. As I drive behind Sophia's sedan, heading away from Raven's Hollow and the burned ruins of my grandmother's house, I think about the family tree I found with all its mysterious gaps. Now I know what those gaps represent. Choices. Some chose to preserve their humanity at the cost of their lives. Others chose extended life at the cost of their souls. I don't know yet if I can trust Sophia or these severed branches she speaks of, but I do know that I've made my choice. Whatever this gift is, whatever it might turn me into, I will use it to expose the truth, to stop the preservation, to fill in those gaps with the stories of those who were taken. The road stretches ahead, leading away from the ruins of my past and toward an uncertain future. But for the first time since I opened that basement door, I feel something like purpose. I will find every branch of this twisted family tree. I will open every hidden basement. I will bring their secrets into the light. And perhaps in doing so, I'll discover who and what I truly am.